All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. And I'm coming at you from Los Angeles, California. My name is Shanila, and I'm the founder of the Integrative Wellness Group, which is a small group of health and wellness leaders who practice integrative health. So we're from all different types of health, emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual health. We have doctors, scientists, therapists, hypnotherapists, acupuncturists, sound healers, breathwork teachers. We're all a collective of healers who are promoting each other, supporting and encouraging each other, especially during this time of COVID. And I am also the founder of Always Play Studios, which is a mobile wellness studio based in Los Angeles, where we do sound baths, breathwork, energy healing, and mentorship for women who are also trying to be in the health and wellness field. And so we put together this little festival a couple weeks ago. We're in our week 4 right now. This was just supposed to be 1 week, but I think maybe 50, 60, 70 of you are coming to pretty much every class. So we're like, all right, let's just keep this going as long as there are amazing presenters and health and wellness leaders who want to come and share their time with us. We love everybody who's been coming here, sharing their skills and doing all these amazing workshops. And if you haven't checked out the offerings that we have, if you go to wellset.co/events, you'll be able to see that we have yoga, Pilates, hypnotherapy, meal prep, breathwork, sound healing, so many good, amazing, juicy things to keep you staying at home. Like, stay at home, folks. Like, stay at home and come to a couple of wellness classes. And we're partnered with WellSet, which is the first centralized platform for health and wellness where you can find a practitioner that suits your exact need that you're looking for. So if you're somebody in your early 30s who's looking for mindset coaching and you want to work with a very specific skill set, you can go on this platform and look for a person who caters directly to that thing that you're looking for. So it's an amazing platform. We're going to have wellness classes pretty much from morning to evening the next couple of weeks. So definitely check us out at wellset.co/events. And for mentorship, alwaysplay.org/leadership. And so we have Stephanie Kwong here today, and she's a mindset mastery coach. She's also a hypnotherapist and the founder of The Reset. She hosts the Rise Higher podcast, which you can find at stephaniekwong.com/podcast. I'll leave a link for that at a later time in the chat box. And she supports high achievers to identify and remove mental and emotional roadblocks to achieve their next level through hypnosis, breathwork, and other subconscious reprogramming techniques. And so through mastering their mind and redesigning their subconscious, their clients are effortlessly able to achieve the results that they want personally, professionally, financially, and all the good stuff. So thank you for being here, Stephanie. I'll let you take it away.
Jill, girl, you know I love you. And to the WellSet Co., also thank you for having me. This is such an honor and a pleasure to be here to teach and to do what is in my highest excitement, which is to share a lot of the tools, the techniques, the knowledge that I've learned along the way over 20 years of my own personal journey. And I am passionate about supporting people in identifying what the heck is in your way, and let's get it out the way, because we got things to do on this planet to live into our highest potential. And I know that especially at this time right now, when I really tune in to what would be of highest service to all of you tuning in, I know this whole COVID thing feels so uncertain for many people, and many people have been affected, some more than others, but we've all been affected ultimately. And when we're dealing with uncertainty, or when we're dealing with crisis, or things that we are perceiving that we do not want, it kicks up a lot of fears, anxiety, stress, and worries, overwhelm, and even old traumas that we have not dealt with. And so there's two things that I wanted to share with you guys today. I wanted to kick it off first with sharing an extraordinarily powerful tool that I share with all of my high achieving clients. It's a CPR for the amygdala, and it's really showing you how to immediately calm yourself and bring yourself back to a place of center, of peace. And it's twofold. One is if you're starting to feel anxious or fearful or doubtful or any of the lower vibrating feelings, if you use this technique, it can immediately bring you back to a place of calm and groundedness. And what you can also use this for is if there's any sort of past trauma that you have been stuck around, that's been holding you back and is in the way of you really moving forward towards living into the life that you desire, whether it's who you be, how you want to show up, or the things that you want to call into your life. This is another technique that you can use to support you with that. So it's awesome because there's twofold to that piece on this one powerful technique, which again, I'm going to share with you. And then in the second part, I think in this time of uncertainty, many of us really want answers. And the best place to get answers that are for our highest good is not from the outside world, but it's really from ourselves. So I'm going to be taking you through a guided hypnosis process that, again, I use with a lot of my high-end clients to help them to connect and tune into their own intuition, to find their own answers instead of needing to crowdsource and look externally always for the things that they want or for the answers that they think that they need. And that empowers you to really show up in your greatest self and also in your leadership. And right now, a lot of us really need to show up as leaders, whether it's, in our families or in our communities or in the work that we do. So hopefully that will also support you. That's another tool that you can use. But really, it's a matter of you tuning internally and finding out, how do I get my own answers? So as we kick this off, as I shared, I'm going to teach you this freaking awesome tool that I love. I learned it. It's called self-havening. But the woman I learned it from, Dr. Truitt, I did a full day training with her. She also calls it CPR for the amygdala, which is, let's know, amygdala responsible fight flight response. It is, we call her Amy for short, but Amy likes to protect us. And sometimes she is going off, or he, we'll just say Amy, he, she. It's going off at a time when it really doesn't serve us. And a lot of times when we're in this fight, flight, this fear zone, it clouds our thinking. It obviously lowers our immune system, which is the very thing that we really need to build up at this time. And it messes with our ability to make decisions, all the things. And we go into fear response that can be very disempowering or very unhealthy for ourselves or for others. So this is a very life-changing brain hack that I'm going to be sharing with you. It's a simple but powerful process that can and will change your life if you actually use it. And I'm sure, as Shanella said, many of you have been showing up session after session, which is so amazing. But as you learn these tools, please integrate them, because while it's amazing to show up on these sessions and to learn all this stuff, really where the rubber meets the road is the integration piece. So what I'm about to share with you, I highly encourage you to use it, because I use it on myself. I'm still a human going through my human experience. Even though I've learned a lot and I teach a lot, I still have been working through my own fears, my own traumas, and my own inner blocks. So with this process, again, it's called havening or self-havening. It was designed by these two brothers who discovered, how do we actually start to rewire or refire old past traumas with a new feeling or an emotion, which is more of common peace, versus how trauma gets formed is we have an experience, we have a thought about the experience, and we also have a high emotional state about it, and then that gets wired together. And then what occurs is, every time we perceive an experience that's similar to that experience we have the same fight flight response that goes off. So we're not actually in charge anymore. What's in charge is what happened to us from the past. And it's so important to be able to unwind that and release that instead. And again, that's what this technique, this havening or self-havening technique, the CPR for the amygdala, can do for you. What it does is it can immediately calm and de-link a trauma or something that's been bothering you. So any sort of stress or anxiety. And what it does as well, which is so amazing, is this technique, it immediately kicks up your delta waves, which are calming waves. If you don't know much about brainwave states, currently you're in beta. As you're listening to me, you have an active mind, you're in your prefrontal cortex, your logic, your reasoning, your analyzation, your ability to pay attention. So that is your brain, your beta. And then it moves down into your alpha, then theta, and then delta. And the alpha theta state, alpha is kind of like the daydreaming, theta is like when you're kind of in that zone. If you can get into a deep state of meditation or in hypnosis, which I take my clients through, we ideally want to get to that theta state because that's when your mind is more malleable to be able to work with, and the conscious mind gets shut down. But the delta waves is kind of like the sleep calm waves. And what this technique does, which is so cool, is it gets your delta waves going. It also kicks up serotonin, which is the happy neurotransmitter. And it also gets your GABA waves going, which is a really soothing neurochemical that interacts with other positive chemicals that has you soothe yourself and put you into your parasympathetic nervous system. Now, all three of these combined make up for a power force to really be able to, again, calm the brain and the body down very lovingly. And it can be done actually really quickly as well. So I'm going to show you this technique. I know actually when I've usually been on the Zooms, I've been able to see other people, so I cannot see you, but I invite you to do this along with me. And basically how the Havening touch is, there's actually 4 steps to it. But the Havening touch, I'm just going to show you that first so you can do it, is you want to touch your face with your hands, and you want to do a backwards 3 across your face, just like so. And then you bring your hands down your arms, and then you finish off by hand Havening. So again, you just start to do that. If you close your eyes, you kind of shut out the information of the world around you right now, and just start to do that motion. Just going to take a couple more moments to allow you to feel into this physical touch part and start to see where you find your own rhythm and where it feels good for you to continue your Havening. So when I first learned this, I actually realized when I was trained in it and she said, find where it feels good for you. I actually don't like to touch my face. So I was doing it to demonstrate for you all, but I prefer the arm and the hands. And it works just as well. You might be someone who's like, wow, it feels super soothing to just do my face. I don't really like the arms, or maybe I like that face and the hands. Maybe it's the arms and the hands, but find where your groove is on. Oh, that's funny. Chanel's like, I felt that face resistance. Find where your groove is, but that is the physical motion of the Havening. And again, it's pretty cool because I have another colleague who teaches this. And when she was teaching, there was a woman who approached her after she ran her full session. And this woman was a nurse in the ward where they worked with micro preemies. Now, with micro preemies, they're born really early and their nervous system is not in the best place and they really need more ways to soothe themselves. And so this nurse approached my friend afterwards and said, what's crazy is I thought that this would be a bunch of BS, but when you share the technique and explain the science behind it, it's interesting because I work with micro preemies and what they do naturally to self-soothe is they'll either put their hands in their face, they'll either hold themselves like this, or they clasp their hands. So this process of what we do is a natural way to soothe yourself, again, to get the delta waves going, to get the serotonin and the GABA waves going. So this practice, again, it's like, that was kind of a cool, hey, this is legit and it does work because it shows that we as humans will naturally go to those places to self-soothe. So that's kind of the physical way of doing the Havening. And what you want to do is, this is the full process. So and there's 4 steps. So if you're just feeling stressed out, or maybe your partner or your kids are saying something that you're like, and you want to react, or maybe there is, you're just laying in bed and you're not feeling your best and it's really hard for you to get out of bed, or if you're also struggling to get to sleep, because I've used this process to knock myself out because, again, it gets the delta waves going. Immediately, again, there's 2 parts. So I'm just going to share it for you when you are initially just feeling the freak out vibes when Amy's going nuts, you can immediately do this process. And the second is I'll show you how to work through trauma with it. Again, it's very similar. There's just a little bit of a change in explanation. But the moment you guys are feeling stressed, anxious, that sadness, that overwhelm, the feelings that just don't feel good, and you need to calm and soothe yourself to bring yourself back to a place of peace and groundedness, do this immediately. But the first step you want to do is feel it, right? And then once you feel it coming up, that's step one. Step two is to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. So this is called your subjective units of distress, or your SUDS level. You want to check in, where is my SUDS level right now? And on a scale of 0, did I say 1 to 10? 1 to 10, 0 to 10. 1 to 10, 1 meaning cool as a cucumber, I'm good, everything's all right. 10 is, freak out, freak out, freak out. I need something to help me in this moment because I'm about to do or say something that is not right. So check in on your SUDS level. That's step 2. And the third is you want to start applying the self-havening touch and do a brain distraction with it. So it's not just the motion you want to do. So start doing that after you get your SUDS going. But the CPR for the amygdala, it uses the physical touch, but you also want to distract your brain with something else. Because when you start to feel a little anxious, usually the brain starts to tell you some big old fear stories. I mean, Amy is the queen of the choose your own adventures of fear. How many of you have ever experienced that? Please pop in the chat box if you have ever experienced when all of a sudden fear kicks in, that you start having all these fear-based stories that don't make sense, and it starts to exacerbate what you're feeling, and it amplifies that negative feeling. You guys drop it in the chat box and let me see. Casey is like, oh yes, ma'am, honey. Yep, in my stomach. Kathy says I feel it so often. Yes, of course. Yeah, right? Look, it does not feel good. And we can spin ourselves into these deep, dark holes. So that's why it's so important, where not only are you doing this havening touch, okay, that immediately, again, kicks up the delta waves, the GABA, the serotonin, but you want to give your brain some other distraction so Amy can't run off and throw all these crazy big fear stories at you. That's going to make it worse. So what do I mean by a brain distraction? There's many different ways of distracting your brain. When I learned it, they were having us hum a simple song. So we were actually humming Itsy Bitsy Spider. So it was like, your brain is focused somewhere else. It's not on the crazy stuff that Amy wants to tell you, okay? And then you can also do like a counting backwards. So maybe it's like 100, 99, 98, 97. You can count backwards every other number, 100, 98, 96, 94. Just because I'm Asian doesn't mean my math is that great. Just kidding. And then you can start to do some category work. So you might think of like 5 things that start with the letter A, 5 things that start with the letter B. But again, you want to give your brain distraction, something to focus on and to think and to ruminate about as you're doing that havening, so that you can calm yourself immediately. Now, once you do it for a little bit of time, you can kind of feel a little bit of energetic shift. Then the next part, step 4, is to just check in again. Where am I at? Where's my SUDS level? Did I go from an 8 to a 6? Cool, there's some progress. I want to get myself to a 2, so I'm going to do another round. Maybe you went from an 8 all the way down to a 2, and you're like, whoa, I feel good. I'm done. Or whatever that might be, but start to check in. So you want to be able to track your progress to know if one round was good enough, or if you need to do a couple more rounds for yourself. And maybe you went from an 8 to a 7. Awesome. You still experience progress. Great. Now it's time to do another round. And remember, I'm now at an 8. Boom, start the havening, whichever way works for you. And then do the brain distraction while you're havening. Do it until all of a sudden you kind of feel yourself dropping in. Check in again. Where am I at? Now, this is such, again, a powerful technique. It's a psychosensory, so you're using your body and you're using your mind. A lot of times we'll try to change the thing, the feeling, by using only cognitive tools, which can still be powerful. But if you're spinning out, or if you're really stuck, or, as Kathy said on here, I get lightheaded from Amy dropping all those fear stories, it can be difficult to change the thing that's causing the problem with thought alone or with a cognitive process. So psychosensory techniques like this one can be extraordinarily powerful for you to use and to be able to just chill yourself out, which is what we want. We want you in your parasympathetic nervous system. We want you to feel calm, to feel grounded, so that, again, you can have better decision making. You can be way more resourceful. You could just treat the people, yourself and others around you, much better, which I know we all need. And again, ultimately, it's better for your immune system. It's better for your health. If we can actually stay in our parasympathetic nervous system more often, that is when we get ourselves into flow. That is when we live from higher states of being. So utilize this all the time. And there are times, I know I was teaching this on another platform and someone's like, well, doesn't it look weird if all of a sudden you're like activated and then you just start doing that motion in front of people? Yeah, it can look weird. And sometimes I'm like, and who cares? Like, do we care more about image, or do we care more about feeling good? So that's one way. Or another is, if you happen to people, sometimes it's not weird to just kind of just go like that. Or if you're just doing the hand havening, there's been a man he's also a teacher of the havening technique, and he hooked himself up and he only did the hand havening, and it showed his delta waves starting to go up simply by doing the hand havening. So if you do it under a table, or just kind of down, you guys can't even see it where I'm doing it right now. But that's a way to also get you going. Or excuse yourself. I do that a lot. I'll go into the bathroom or just go into a separate space to like chill myself out so that I can be the most present and loving being as possible, if it happens to be someone else that's activating me. But as I know, many of us are quarantined, some maybe with your families, a roommate, or some just maybe alone. If you're alone, do this. And what's great is when you start to have triggers of stress, if immediately you go to the havening, you're actually starting to reprogram your brain to go, the moment Amy wants to like jack me up, it's like, she does this or he does this, to calm. So it's really cool. What you're doing is you're training your nervous system to start to go to a more peaceful place when it wants to, in the past, freak out. So again, you can use this technique the moment you start to feel any sort of negative feelings. And then the other piece, if you want to use this for healing trauma, very simple, very similar, but you want to think of the issue that creates the undesirable feeling, right? Or the thing that you feel stuck around, or that you are in a pattern that you want to release, or a coping mechanism that doesn't support you, that brings about a certain feeling that doesn't feel good. So think about that thing. Bring that feeling up. So you want to activate the feeling. You don't have to hold it for very long, but you want to bring that feeling up so it's in your body. And then immediately do the same process. So something I do, like I've written down a lot of my traumas. I've written down a lot of the negative feelings that get activated through certain people or experiences or perceptions. And immediately I bring this havening technique to it. So I'll write them all down so I know how to bing, 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 like knock them out. As I bring it up, choose one, bring up the feeling. It's pretty easy to do that because all I have to do is think of the thing and then it activates the feeling inside. So you want to do that. And then once the feeling is up, rate it on the SUDS level. Remember, rate the feeling so you can track your progress. Once you've rated it, boom, haven. Do the whatever feels good, brain distraction. And then once you do it where you kind of like, I'm pretty good on it now, rate it again. You might be solid, don't need to touch up the havening anymore. Or again, you might need to do more rounds. Could be one round, could be multiple rounds. But it's crazy because I've done that. And then all of a sudden I'm like presented with a thing that used to trigger me in the past. And I was like, doesn't bug me. And that is when we have our power. So I highly recommend you using this havening technique. And, whether it's in the moment when you're feeling that stress, that fear, that yucky vibes that come up, or being intentional about it and almost using it as like your therapy session. That's what I do. I don't work with a therapist. I work with other types of practitioners, but I set up my own personal sessions and I haven and I work through my stuff. This is one of many tools that I use, but this is an extraordinarily powerful one to start to reassociate the feeling with the experience and also to reset my nervous system. So I'm going to pause there and open it up to questions. Do you guys have any questions for me about this havening technique or this CPR for the amygdala before I move on to the next part? Anybody? I'm open for questions. Was this valuable? Did you feel a shift as you were doing it? Does it work like tapping? Similar-ish, like I've actually done EFT as well, which is great, but I've noticed bigger shifts with the havening. It is kind of similar, spots, but they're, yeah, I guess it's similar, but I've just found havening to be a little bit more effective for me personally. So I think there's a lot of great techniques out there, and it's just a matter of finding what works for you. Is there an amount of time to do this for? So there isn't a specific amount of time. Again, if I'm feeling that freak out, sometimes because I think I've done it so much, the moment I just start to go like this, it's like I calm. And I think it's because my body's conditioned to doing it. Again, I've been doing it for a while, so it's like immediately delta waves start going. When it comes to my sits with the traumas, some things move faster than others because some are not as deeply grooved as other ones. The ones that are a little bit lighter, of course, I can reset them faster. And then the ones that are more deeply ingrained, the ones that really mess me up and have a high emotional content that's trapped in there, that can take a little bit longer to do. And not only that, but once you like have a trauma thing that you work through, other ones might start to pop up, and then it's like, boom, I write them down on a list so that I can continue to work through those ones. Yes, Kathy says, I look forward to using it when flying in turbulence and I freak out. Heck yes, girl. Use it. It's so powerful and it's so good. Again, remember to use the brain distraction as you're doing it, but makes a huge difference. Can you do some bullet points on the CPR recap? You don't know what bullet points there are. I mean, let me just see if I can, I'll just trust myself to know what bullet points mean to you, that could help you. Basically, this is a psychosensory technique. It kicks up your delta waves, your serotonin, and your GABA waves. Those are all the feel-good stuff, and the delta is a very calming brainwave state. What it does is it allows you to calm yourself in the moment, or you can utilize it to heal trauma of the past that can kick up those same feelings. Maybe you're not, usually anyway, if we're experiencing uncertainty or an experience we don't want, many times it is past history anyway that's causing it, aka traumas. And so you can use this technique the moment something comes up, or you can actually sit with it, go through things that you know in the past have historically caused you to not feel your best, and then work through that as well. And then what you want to do is this technique, let's see, would I please slowly repeat the hand motion? Maybe I'm getting hung up on the movement when it's not exactly critical. Yes. So the hand movement is a backwards 3, right? I'm going backwards 3. It's a 3. Actually, is that a right side 3 as you guys are seeing it? Basically a 3, okay? Then just going down your arms and then wiping your hands. Now it looks a little weird because I'm like this. That's just because I'm trying to show it to you guys. But like if I was sitting up, and then I would usually have my hands down here. So I wouldn't be holding them up here. Again, I'm only doing it so you could see it. But hands, usually just relaxing yourself as you're doing it. So again, backwards 3, crossing your arms, bringing it down, and then wiping your hands. again, find your groove. You might not want to do the facing like me. You might just solely want to do this and hand, or you might be someone who just wants to do the face and I don't really like doing this part, or you might do face and hands, or you might just hand haven, or you might just simply do this. Okay, all of it works. Each part it's not about perfection, of course. It's like finding what feels best for you, but as you're doing it, doing the distraction. So the 4 steps. The first is noticing the feeling is there. And then rating it. That's step 1. Step 2, rate it. The SUDS level, the subjective units of distress. How does it feel right now to me? From 1 to 10. 1 meaning I'm good, 10 meaning freaking out. Just so you know to track your progress on are decreasing your SUDS. And then 3rd step is start the havening. Do the physical and the brain distraction. Again, brain distraction could be humming a song you know. It could be counting backwards. It could be closing your eyes and seeing yourself walking on a beach and counting the steps as you're walking. It could be choosing, like I said, category, like a game in your mind where it's like, I'm going to choose 5 things that start with A, 5 things that start with B, 5 things that start with C. And you're doing all that as you're havening simultaneously. That's step 3. And then step 4 is checking back in. How am I feeling right now on a scale of 1 to 10? And you're going to notice it will decrease. Depending on how much it decreases, you get to decide. If I went from a 9 and now I'm at a 6, I'm good at a 6. Or maybe you're like, I want to get myself to a 2. That would feel really good. Well, if you are at a 6 after 1 round and you want to get to a 2, do another round. Again, check in. I'm at a 6, haven, brain distraction at the same time. Check back in. Now, how long is each one? You just do it until and trust yourself intuitively. You're like, okay, good. I want to stop now. Let me check in. Where am I at? So that's something, again, just start to use a technique. Do not overthink this. Follow those 4 steps and find your groove in it. Honestly, start to trust yourself. Those are the 4 basic steps, and you'll start to notice a difference the moment you use it, and you'll start to see what works for you. Like I said, I just do this, and it's like now because I programmed it into my system, immediately I feel calm, and it feels real dang good. So, do you have any resources for other psychosocial techniques? Perhaps functions, would love to more learn. Yes, Shane, I'm happy to share some with you. EFT, someone mentioned like tapping, that is one of them as well. But there are others. If you just DM me on Instagram at I am Stephanie Kwong, I'm happy to share more resources with you. How many times do you repeat the hand motion before the brain distraction? You do it at the same time. The moment you start doing the hand motion, the physical part of it, you immediately do the brain distraction. Because again, you're doing the physical that's getting all the serotonin, the GABA, the delta waves going, but you want to immediately give your brain something else to do, because if you don't, Amy is going to be like, what are you doing? This is so weird. Oh my God, did you check your account? Holy crap, how are we going to pay for our bills? Oh my gosh, so-and-so didn't text me back. Like it does all the things. So you want to do the brain distraction to immediately redirect your attention away from those fear-based, choose your own adventure, nasty stories that Amy wants to tell you. So immediately do those at the same time, okay? Any more questions that I can support you with before we move it along to the guided hypnosis? This is so fun. I love sharing this, you guys, because this technique has been a game changer for me and for all the people who I've taught this to. And when you use it, you immediately start to notice results. One of my clients, like she is one of the tops at Facebook. Like her direct boss is Mark Zuckerberg. There's nobody above her. It's her and Mark. And on our first, we didn't even sign up together, or she hadn't signed on to be a client just yet. But she came to the session extremely dysregulated. And I could see it. So I said, you know what, just try something with me. And I just started to have her haven. I didn't even tell her what she was doing. I was like, just do this with me. And I had her hum, and she was doing it. And then within like 30 seconds, her whole body just went, and I said, what just happened there? And she goes, I feel like I softened. And I went, yeah. And she goes, why don't they teach this stuff? And I said, Well, I'm teaching you right now. And that has become my mission in the reset, is teaching people skills to emotionally and mentally regulate, whether they're mental tools, psychosensory tools, physical tools, because I realize that while I teach a lot of mindset and while I do a lot of subconscious reprogramming or belief change work, the piece that's missing in between is a constant ability to mentally and emotionally regulate yourself throughout the day. And I feel super blessed. Like, it makes sense now, because I was working very part-time, but at a treatment center with women who had borderline personality disorder, bipolar, and other mood disorders. And then I also worked at 2 addiction rehabs over the course of the 10 years that I've been doing what I've been doing. And I learned these skills and techniques. And I was just like, why am I here, at these centers? But I just felt called to be there to serve. And now it makes sense, because my toolbox expanded to be able to offer things like this to the general population. Like, you don't have to be in a treatment center to learn this. This is available information to the collective. So again, use this. It's powerful. And I really hope that it makes a difference for you. Please, if you're using it, which I hope you do, DM me. Let me know how it's going for you, because I always like to hear success stories of people going, heck yeah, I got something that actually supports me. All right. So we're going to move it along, because for the sake of time, I want to make sure that we get this next session in. But as I shared with you, one of the keys that we can do right now is to also connect to our intuition, to figure out answers and the inner knowing that we need to hear from ourselves, not from the governor, not from other people in our family, not from, who runs the country right now, or from anybody else, but for you. What's in your highest alignment to do in each and every moment? So I'm going to take you through a guided hypnosis process that I take all of my, clients through to help them to get their own inner answers. But the first thing I want to do right now is, and we're going to have you do it quickly, but are there any questions that you desire answers to in this moment? Go ahead and write them down, or think them in your mind, and make sure you lock it in that you know what the question is. I know many of us have a lot of questions, because again, it feels so uncertain and we have no idea what's going to happen. But the questions could even be, how can I best support myself during this time? Or what do I need to remember to keep myself grounded and at peace all the time? Or what new qualities do I need to embody to be able to fully empower myself and to stand up as a leader moving forward past this coronavirus and beyond? Or it could be, what is my soul's purpose, and what can I do now to start to align with my purpose? It could be any of those things, but go ahead for the sake of this first round that I'm going to do with you. I know it's being recorded. Chanel, I think you might have even done this one with me, but write those questions down or think them in your mind right now. I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to do that. And then I'm going to take you immediately into the session. But again, you guys, this is a process I take, I use with my high-level private clients, people who are at the top of their game. They know that they're, one of their greatest assets is their personal success and being able to listen to and trust their intuition. So, also think about it, like when you have a big question or need an answer or an important decision to make, what do you do, or who do you turn to? Do you look for other people? Do you crowdsource your answers? I used to do that. I used to call my friends and ask my brother and other people who I thought would know better for me. And then I realized, no, girl, you know your answers. You know what you need that's best for you. Don't look on the Google. Don't always read the books. Don't outsource or crowdsource all the things. But find your own inner guidance, your own inner wisdom. And so that's what I'm taking you through right now. I'm actually going to bring you through a process where you are going to meet your future self. You 20 years down the road, you who's experienced more of life, who's got a heck of a lot of wisdom and information to share with you. So I'm going to trust that you all have your questions right now written down or etched in your mind that you're going to bring up during this process. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is just to get into a comfortable position. You could be sitting up, you could be laying down. If you're laying down, prop your head up, because we don't want to associate laying flat down with hypnosis. So prop yourself up just a little bit. Or if you're sitting against something, make sure you have something to lean the back of your head against. So go ahead and get into that comfortable position. And just settle your body. Let's go ahead and take a few deep, gentle, and slow breaths. Because as we slow our breath down, it's actually signaling to the mind and the body that it's safe, and that it's a time where we can go within to do some really beautiful, deep healing work. So again, gently breathing in, and slowly and gently exhaling out. And as you're breathing in and out, I want you to imagine that right in front of you, as those deeper breaths are moving down to your natural rhythm of breathing, that right in front of you is a crystal ball. And this ball of energy, notice the color, is right at your solar plexus. Again, just noticing that color and feeling the healing power of that light, that ball of energy. And as you breathe in, you notice that that ball goes up through your spine, up through the top of your head, and up right above your head. And as you exhale, this ball of energy goes down through the top of your head, all rolling down your spine, down through your stomach area, down through your legs, out through your feet, taking away any tension or stress with it. And again, as you breathe in, noticing that ball rolling all the way up your legs, your back, your spine, through your head, popping up at the top of your head. And as you exhale, that beautiful energy ball of light rolls all the way down, down, down your body and down through your feet, taking away any tension or stress with it. And each time you move this ball of energy up and down your spine, through your body, you're going deeper and deeper within. And you just allow this energy ball to move up and down your body, again, taking you into a comfortable and deeply relaxing state. And at just the right time, when you know you're there, simply take that energy ball, it's your energy, and place it now in the part of your body where you know it goes. And then, preparing in a moment, I'm going to count from 5 down to 0. And each number, each countdown is going to take you into a deeper, relaxed state, more deeper at 0. So now at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0, and going deeper now. And as your breathing is becoming so relaxed, especially with every exhale, bring the attention to the weight of your feet. Your feet are starting to feel very heavy. And this heavy relaxation moves from your toes to your heels to your ankles. And you're now feeling this heavy relaxation moving upward into the calves of your legs. Feeling the weight of your legs pushing down, growing heavier and heavier. And feeling that your legs relaxing now, deeply relaxing. And this heavy relaxation moves into the knees as you concentrate only on my voice. Pay no attention to any outside sounds except my voice, because these outside sounds are just everyday sounds of life and they cannot distract or disturb you, but they'll tend to relax you and allow you to go even deeper into this deep, heavy relaxation. The sound of your breath can take you deeper, and even the sound of your own heartbeat can have you just go deeper and deeper. And now you're feeling this relaxation moving upward into the thighs and hips and through the midsection of the body. Feel the stomach muscles relaxing, deeply relaxing, and the entire chest area becomes saturated with relaxation. And your breathing becomes very deep, gentle, and rhythmic. And that drowsy, sleepy, daydreaming feeling takes over, letting go as you start to drift down, going deeper and deeper, and your arms, hands, and fingers are relaxing, feeling a numb, pleasant, and tingling feeling in your fingers as this relaxation grows deeper and deeper. Your neck muscles are relaxing, and all the little muscles in the scalp are letting go, feeling as if the blood is circulating very close to the skin. And this relaxation moves down over the forehead, down over your eyelids, as your jaw muscles are starting to relax now, growing heavier and heavier. And again, as I count down from 5 to 0, each count will represent deep relaxation, and you'll feel the body relaxing even more and letting go, going deeper and deeper. And when you reach 0, you'll go fully deep into the hypnotic sleep, starting at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0, and going deeper now. And as you become more relaxed, you find yourself becoming more quiet and peaceful. And now bring your attention to the spot between your eyes, the third eye, and imagine a light there. What color is this light? And now imagine that light becoming a beam that extends out into space. And now follow that beam as it leaves your home, as it travels above the city, as it continues out so that you can view the entire area, and just keep going farther and farther out into outer space. And just start to notice the curvature of the earth. And as you keep going further out, you find yourself enveloped by the softness and quiet of space. You're noticing the big blue-green ball below you with white clouds wisping all around it. And you're allowing yourself to enjoy this perspective for a moment. And now noticing another beam of light very near to you. It's a different color from the one that you followed into outer space. And start to follow that beam back down to earth. The beam is taking you back to earth 20 years from now. 20 years into the future. And keep following this beam down, noticing the curvature of the earth and the geography stretched out below you. And as you come closer to the end of the beam, notice where you are. And then allow yourself to come into contact with the earth. This is where your future self lives. You 20 years from now. And just notice what nature surrounds you, or what dwelling. And now move to the dwelling or the home of your future self. What does it look like? What kind of landscape does it have? Are there trees, flowers, what kind? And just get a sense of this place. And now have someone come to the door, and on the other side of the door is your future self waiting to greet you, yourself 20 years from now. And as the door opens, what do you notice? Go ahead and greet your future self, and just notice the way your future self returns your greeting, welcoming you into this time and place 20 years in the future. And take in this person, your future self. What does this person look like? Notice how this person stands. Get a sense of this person's energy and essence. And then just take a quick peek around. Notice the inside of this home or dwelling. What kind of person lives here? What are the colors of this place? And now move with your future self to a comfortable place for a conversation. Now there's going to be several questions, and you know that you'll remember all the answers that you need to. So go ahead and settle in and make yourself comfortable for a talk with your future self. And there are questions that you are going to want to ask your future self, the ones that you've either written down or etched in your mind from earlier. But go ahead and start by asking your future self, what is it that you most remember about the past 20 years? And take a moment to hear the answer now. And now ask your future self the following question. What do I need to know to get me from where I am to where you are? What would be most helpful? And listen to what your future self has to tell you. And now ask your future self, is there anything in my present existence that I need to let go of? And go ahead and listen to what your future self has to tell you. And now take a moment and ask your future self your own questions. The question, again, that you may have written down earlier, or the one that's etched in your mind. Go ahead and ask your future self that question or questions and really hear what your future self has to tell you. And go ahead and do that now. Now, before you go, your future self pulls out a box and hands it to you. And in this box is a special word. It's your word, the one that is most important for you to embody and to integrate into this next year to take you to where you want to go. So go ahead and receive this box in your hand. And when you're ready, go ahead and open it. And notice a word that appears inside this box. That is meant just for you. And so bringing this visit to a close, thank your future self for being here with you today and sharing so much wisdom. And know that your future self is always here for you to visit anytime you wish to connect for more wisdom, insight, and support. And now find your way back to the beam of light, journey back up the beam, watching this world of 20 years in the future grow ever smaller as you move out into space. And again, you see this ball of blue and green below you, clouds swirling around it. And notice that your beam of light has intersected with a different beam of light that will bring you back to this year and this location. So go ahead and follow this beam of light back to the present time on Earth. And as you travel down this beam, you notice the Earth growing bigger and bigger, moving farther down the beam, noticing the geography of the area, the skyline and the landscape, and finally coming back into the room where you are right now. So in a few moments, I'm going to count from 1 to 5, and at the count of 5, you'll be refreshed and alert as if you've had the perfect amount of rest, knowing that you can remember everything that you wish of this inner journey. So at 1, taking in another deep, gentle breath. 2, becoming aware of your body in the room. 3, feeling a wonderful sense of well-being. 4, feeling a warmth in your heart, knowing that you are so loved, you are so supported, and this is all going to be okay. And 5, eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake. I hope you guys are feeling amazing right now. So a couple things. I know I need to hop off because I have to do another Zoom training in literally 1 minute. So Shanila, hopefully you can hop on, girl, and close this out with me. But you guys, something I would recommend is journal right now. Write down everything. First, if you could pop in real quick what your word was. I would love to see what your words are. journal about your experience, write down all your answers. You can listen to this recording again to get yourself back into more information or things that you need. If you want to find me, I'm at stephaniekwong.com. You can, I have a self-hypnosis course I'm going to give a steep discount to so that you can actually do deeper hypnosis work in this time. And I know that Shanila will link that up for me. And then if you find me on the socials, I'm at I am Stephanie Kwong on Instagram, and I respond back to every message. So love your words, gift, loved, peace. I love you guys so much. I've got to go. Shamila, I'll give it to you for 1 second.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. I just dropped all her information into the chat box so you'll be able to keep in touch. I'll leave this going for a little bit so you have time to copy and paste any information that you want, and you will get a recording of this in your email. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so
Love
much for
you.
being here. See you.
Love you. Thank you, everybody who was here. Sending you all love and peace and light. Bye.